Right now we're shooting full HD at 30 FPS on Pixel 7 and Samsung Galaxy S23. The only time I'll be shooting full HD because I'll be shooting 4K and 8K if possible. This is the ultimate comparison of these two phones. Let the battle begin.
Let's get scratched. If you let me down, make sure that you lift me up.
First, let's talk about the colors, and both of them has contrasting style. To begin with, Pixel 7 is more natural looking. Every single photos you would see on this comparison, Pixel 7 is closer in real life. The only difference is the contrast and shadows. I feel like Pixel 7 has more depth into the blacks than Samsung Galaxy S23. Again, the computational photography of Google provide a wall-balanced look on every single image because it controls the highlights really well. While Samsung Galaxy S23 is like what I envisioned going to this test, it is more saturated. I feel like the colors on this phone matches the one on the iPhone 14 Pro. I would probably test this phone with iPhone counterpart. Generally, the images are more vivid, sometimes on the warmer side and obviously brighter than Pixel 7. But overall, on a blind test, randomly you wouldn't probably know which is which because these two phones provide exceptional image quality. Looking at all sensors from ultra-wide, wide, and the telephoto lens of S23, the colors are generally the same. There's just a loss of quality on the Pixel 7's digital crop, as you can see on the sand at the back. Only the Pro version has the telephoto lens. Now we're testing the video capability of these two phones. This is Pixel 7 4K 30 FPS using the regular video mode, and this is Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra on portrait video UHD at 30 FPS. You can see the background blur. How's the performance? I think this is one of the best portrait or cinematic video mode on a smartphone. This is the regular camera mode on Pixel 7. You can change the colors and white balance, but you have to adjust it manually. While Samsung Galaxy S23, like any other Samsung phones, has small filters to choose from, and this is on the automatic mode. This is the video zoom test, and starting with Pixel 7, and this is the farthest the video zoom can reach. Take a look.
Gas came my hydro bill, working on the enterprise, never had a time to kill, even still in low tides kept the even keel, got a beat to kill left.
And this is Samsung Galaxy S23, and it's not the best zoom on a Samsung flagship phone. It doesn't have the reach of the Ultras, but this is good enough and even better than Pixel 7.
I'm Saint Germain. If you let me down, make sure that you lift me up now.
This is the resolution battle. This is Pixel 7a on 4K 30 FPS, and this is Samsung Galaxy S23 8K at 30 FPS. Better resolution, but bigger file size as well. If you like this type of camera comparison video, don't forget to subscribe. Let's talk about the different aspect of this comparison, starting with flaring, and I love the sun rays on Pixel 7. On darker environment where you have only a single blinding light source, I think Pixel 7 exhibits linear flaring, while Samsung Galaxy S23 will try to clean it up, but will end up purplish and noisier. This is the audio test, and this is Samsung Galaxy S23. The audio was pretty good on this phone, but there's no noise cancellation. Well, this is Pixel 7a using speech enhancement, and it blocks the background noise. As you can hear, we have road on the side, but you won't probably hear that because you're just hearing my voice on speech enhancement. Highlights is where Pixel 7 shines. I believe in every single Pixel phone, it takes longer to shoot a photo because it stitches up multiple shots in one. But it's pretty good in Pixel 7, both ultra-wide and regular wide, as it provides more information on brighter areas. And speaking of HDR shot, it also translates on exposure as it exposes the darker areas better. The problem with the software manipulation is the color tends to be unrealistic. The pot here is color black and not brown, so S23 is closer in real life. Now we're doing the stabilization test, and starting with Pixel 7, we will do a full video sample and side by side so you can see the difference in details. Pixel 7 has great stabilization but only has full HD resolution on active stabilization mode. While Samsung Galaxy S23 is brighter and has more muted colors compared to Pixel 7, a little bit uncharacteristic of a Samsung phone, but here we are. It is in 4K 30 FPS, it can shoot Quad HD on super steady mode. Now for the side-by-side, if you take out the subject on the video, you would see micro stutter on Pixel 7 using the main sensor. Sadly, the cheaper flagship phones doesn't have macro capability, but we can still test the close focus of these two phones using the main sensor and ultra-wide. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, S23 has closer focus than Pixel 7. Next is white balance, and generally Galaxy S23 is warmer than Pixel 7, and I just noticed on this photo, if we zoom in, on a darker and more challenging environment without HDR, the newer sensor of S23 is superior than Pixel 7 without HDR. It is faster and sharper than the Pixel 7 competition. This is 4K 30 FPS using the ultra-wide lens of Pixel 7, and nothing to complain about. This is one of the best out there. And similar to what Samsung Galaxy S23 can produce, the stabilization is impeccable. You would hardly notice the difference between the two. If we go side by side, I think the only thing that's different is the color and contrast. It is more vivid on Pixel 7, but I like the softer clouds on Galaxy S23. Zooming in 2x digital crop on Pixel 7 and 3x optical zoom on Samsung Galaxy S23, the stabilization on Pixel 7 is better because of the crop factor, while there's so much details on Samsung Galaxy S23. And speaking of details, if we take the farthest reach of these two phones, you will see that Samsung Galaxy S23 is sharper than Pixel 7. This is the slow motion test in 16:9 aspect ratio, and S23 is lower than Pixel 7. And I could say the same case on super slow motion, S23 is just freezing time. Let's talk about the portrait mode and another contrasting style on these two phones. The skin tone on Pixel 7 is natural looking, and you would see a lot of details on the subject as you can see on the dress, and overall it has a better contrast and shadows than Samsung Galaxy S23. While the new Samsung Galaxy S23 has warmer skin tone that sometimes looks more pleasing to the eyes, it also has a face retouch feature that provides softer skin effect and a little bit of makeup. But I think the biggest change is the subject separation. The cutout on S23 is far superior than Pixel 7. This is the night shot, and I actually posted the YouTube shorts just to see how you guys feel about the difference, and a lot of people were commenting how good the colors on Pixel 7. I like the natural colors of the new Google flagship. It will also try to expose the subject as you can see on the trees and the fence. But at the same time, I like the warmer and more vivid style of S23. In most situations, it handles the highlights better than Pixel 7, and it is also brighter. Pixel 7 sometimes tends to over-sharpen the photos as you can see on the grass, while S23 is softer, but if you punch in on the other parts of the image, you would see that there's more details on Samsung Galaxy S23. I just don't like the purple sky on S23. I think there's too much edit on it. Nothing to complain about the sharpness of any of the sensors of these two phones. I think if you punch in on the ultra-wide and wide, you will be able to read the text on a considerable amount of zoom. But if you talk about details, Samsung Galaxy S23 can shoot RAW 50 megapixel using Expert RAW. Pixel 7 can only output 12.5 megapixel on a 50 megapixel sensor. That is the older Samsung ISOCELL GN1, while Samsung Galaxy S23 is using the newer ISOCELL GN3. And as we talk about the newer sensors of Galaxy S23, if you look on low light condition using the raw performance of both of the sensors, Galaxy S23 is better than Pixel 7. This is the low light video on 16:9 aspect ratio, so you can see more in 4K 30 FPS. And lastly, in terms of versatility, both phones has wide and ultra wide, but only Samsung Galaxy S23 has 3x optical zoom and 30x digital crop with better image quality. So this is the ultimate camera comparison video of Pixel 7 versus Samsung Galaxy S23. What an exciting and awesome comparison. Let's do a recap. The new Google Pixel 7 has natural looking photos, speech enhancement, manages the flaring better, better exposure, cooler white balance, more stable video zoom, and natural looking night shots. While the latest Samsung Galaxy S23 is more saturated, portrait video in UHD, super steady in Quad HD, more color filters to choose from, 8K 30 FPS video, better reach on video, better video stabilization, closer focus, warmer white balance, 3x optical zoom, sharper digital crop, better slow motion, better portrait mode, more detailed photos, brighter and vivid night shots, better low light video, and 30x digital crop. I think you can't go wrong with any of these phones. Google Pixel 7 will give you all the essentials, but Samsung Galaxy S23 has better features. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to compare these two phones in our channel, maybe the battery test next, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.